Hello, humans. I am Josh with episode 40 of Not a Robot Podcast DC Comic Review Show. We are down one person today. Brandon apparently thinks that academics are more important than comics for some reason. I mean, what is wrong with that guy, Rob?
How dare he?
I know, Brandon, you obviously need to get your priorities in order,
Yeah.
get yourself some perspective.
You're picking up the wrong books.
That's what I'm saying, man. Anyway, that's why I'm taking the host position this week. He's got to get some schoolwork done. It is finals week, as I'm sure some of you out there know. And, of course, today I am joined by Rob. All right. This week we have got Harley Quinn number 2, Batman Superman 17, Action Comics 1030, Midnighter has backup in that one, Robin number 1, Detective Comics 1035 with a backup for Huntress, and Teen Titans Academy number 2. Lots of stories, yeah, man. Before we get going, I just want to say thank you to all those Patreon supporters out there who help us with $1 or more a month. There's all kinds of tiers, getting you all kinds of access to all kinds of different kinds of content, up to actually coming onto the show. And thank you listeners too. Like, download, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share our episodes, just get us popular. You can get access to our Patreon and the rest of the podcast under the Not a Robot banner at notarobotpodcast.com. You know, you can catch us on Twitter at NotARobotComics and send in some show mail to notarobotcomics@gmail.com. Rob, what's your social on Twitter?
That is Rob_2814.
All right, so you guys can shout out to Rob there too. Now, before we get on to the reviews, I have a tiny bit of news to share. DC is releasing a horror imprint.
Ooh.
That is awesome. I can't wait. I mean, I know just the last episode we were talking about how cool it would be if Joe Hill and Ram V got together and did a book. And wow, what a better avenue for that to happen, man. There's all kinds of stuff that could happen. I do hope that we see some Ram V in there. I hope that we see some Joe Hill for sure, regardless of whether or not I get that dream team up. But it would be pretty cool, man, I think. Are you into horror comics at all, Rob?
I wasn't, but I recently, honestly, I'm getting more and more into it. Swamp Thing is just absorbing me into the green right now.
It really is good, man. It really is good. More DC news. There is no round robin update this week because round 3 doesn't start until May 5th, and it runs all the way until the 27th of May. Now remember, you can vote for your favorite books on DC Comics Twitter and Instagram pages, as well as DCUniverse.com. So each person can potentially cast 3 votes. But the problem with that is that's only going to be big fans, because other people who don't subscribe to DCUniverse.com won't have access to that website to vote. But you can still make every vote count and make it count for Blue Beetle. I want him. I want Jaime Reyes, damn it.
Yeah, I got to agree with that.
And for that matter, you know what I was thinking about it? Obviously a different artist than the Harley one we have now, but I would love to see a team-up book of Harley Quinn, Huntress, and Power Girl.
Well, that'd be interesting. Like a new pseudo Birds of Prey, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be cool to call them the Gotham Knights.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
So, anything new or newsworthy on your end, Rob?
Personally, no, but DC has announced their second well, no, I guess it's their third fandom, because they technically did it twice last year. Or it's coming back in October.
Technically. They had those 2 separate helpings.
Yeah, which I think it was mostly the same stuff in both, though, wasn't it? I don't remember now. But yeah,
the second one had all the recap from the first one.
Yeah.
The second one had all the recaps from the first one, like refreshers and replays and whatnot. And then there was some additional content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one, it's exciting to see what's going to happen. I'm expecting, and for all the gamers out there, Gotham Knights is probably going to get their second reveal trailer this year because we're waiting so long for any new content so far.
Looking forward to it.
Oh man, I can't wait for that game.
I'm looking forward to. I was too, man. I've played and finished every single one of them.
Yeah.
And I rarely have time to play video games, so that's some dedication. I don't think, like modern kind of games, I don't think I've really played anything all the way through like that, other than Arkham, all of the Arkham games, Witcher 1 and 3, and maybe, Breath of the Wild from Nintendo Switch.
Fantastic game.
Oh, it is. I can't wait for part 2 to come out, man.
Yeah, another game we're waiting on anything from.
Yeah, you can say that again. There's all those rumors about the Nintendo Switch Pro coming out that it may be delayed. You know, Nintendo says that it's not coming out, but there's all kind of data miners out there that are pulling stuff out of the firmware in the Nintendo Switch that says that it definitely is coming.
Yeah, and there's been leaks from game shops in Europe, Northern Europe, I think, over the past couple of years with like peripherals and cases and whatnot for Nintendo Switch Pro, and then within a day they just vanish off the website.
Yeah, oops. I don't. My kid, and he's only 8. My kid found on the internet that they were coming out with a new Switch, and keep in mind that they've got 2 now, and one just came last Christmas. He's already talking about how they need to get the new Switch Pro because it's got 4K. He's 8 years old. Why the hell does he care about 4K?
Yeah, I'm 31 and I barely care about 4K half the time.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a new shiny thing. Everybody wants it.
That is true. That is true. All right. So, any word on when Fandom is coming out?
I didn't see an exact date, but I know it's October.
October something.
Yeah.
Well, it gives me something to look forward to anyway. We'll likely be doing live coverage of that then.
I look forward to that.
Yep. Thinking probably reaction podcast / video maybe, but we'll definitely get into that, man. I guess it's time to do the reviews now, huh?
All right. Yeah.
All right. This week there's 2 books that can really get knocked out. Real simple, real quick. We're going to start out with those first 2 books. The first one being Harley Quinn #2. That one was written by Stephanie Phillips with art from Riley Rosmo and Ivan Placencia and Darren Bennett on the lettering. Here's Harley. It's as crazy as The Shining in any case. By page 8, I was already looking at how many pages were left. This sucks. Because I actually like Stephanie Phillips' voice for most of the characters. I feel like Nakano was off, and there were some little quirks that didn't mesh with the way we see him in Takano's and other people's books. But mostly it was good. Mostly it was a good story. I wish it was a standalone title, not tied to the current events in Gotham, so that completionists didn't have to buy this drivel. Rosmo's art is visually not just distracting, but appalling to my senses. I don't like any of the character designs. I don't like the scenery. Why is Hugo Strange so fucking huge? Nothing in this thing makes any sense. And it was really hard to read the story. That's how I know it was a good one. Because it was really hard to read the story with all of this nuclear art exploding everywhere. What did you think about it, man? I mean, it was...
Yeah, I honestly...
Did you skip it?
I did have to
skipped it.
Try it. I did have to try it twice, I'm about to say. I still enjoy Rosmo's art, but I found it very distracting this issue. You make a great point about Hugo Strange. I keep wanting to call him Hugo Strange now that you mention it.
Right?
He's just insanely tall, and that's kind of weird. And you also make a really good point about Mare Nakano. Is even just reading, I think he's in Detective this week as well, and it's just a completely different Mare, completely different character.
Yeah, it feels that way. The way that the dialogue is written, they definitely don't have the same voice, man. I don't know.
By the time we got about halfway through, maybe with the bar scene, when Harley actually started doing stuff, I found it a little more interesting.
A little. I mean, as far as the story goes, it was good. Like I said, man, it was good. I had to force myself through the pages. Yeah, that's never a good thing.
Her little sidekick is fun though. It's like a depressing Robin, but I don't remember his name, but Kevin.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
he's interesting. But we'll see where it goes. I don't know. Maybe issue 3 will pick up a bit on the story and it'll start to make a bit more sense. Because right now it's kind of just like, going all over the place.
I mean, it's going over all over the place a little bit, but I can totally follow it. It's just really hard to do it around this shit. Everybody's face looks like a goddamn kidney bean. I don't understand. I am so sorry, Phillips and Placencia, but you are the only reason that this got graded as high as it did. I give Harley Quinn #2 a 5 out of 10. Yeah.
Damn. I think that might be the lowest score I've ever heard from you.
I've been rather positive lately, but this was just ugh.
Despite the shortcomings, I will say I enjoyed the new direction for Harley, and that's kind of what's bringing me back more and more. That enough is to bring the score up a little bit, this new dynamic for her. So I gave this a 7 out of 10.
Now, see, I enjoy... Ugh, Jesus. I enjoy the idea of a huge, very hard redemption arc for Harley. Mm-hmm. You know, with pretty much everybody but Batman. I think Batman lets her in because he knows, but the rest of the city doesn't know. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to a really good redemption arc. I'm also looking forward to the day that DC realizes Rosmo shouldn't be drawing anything.
or at least keep him on the side books. I mentioned before there was a book he did, I think with Joshua Williamson, called Deathbed. It was my introduction to Riley Rossmo, and I loved that book. The art fit the story so well. But yeah, here it's a little excessive at times.
It all looks exactly the same. The first time that I was introduced to Rosmo's art, the first time I saw it and connected a name and realized everything was back when he did the Martian Manhunter miniseries. Mm-hmm. And oh my God, it was just so difficult to get through. I mean, I did not finish the series. I couldn't. It was just so hard. And I'm like, I will never appreciate this guy's art. And I was right. Still to this day, I don't. And just ew. Yeah. But you gave that one a 7 out of 10, huh?
7 out of 10, yeah. Just because I'm really excited about the direction Harley's going.
Yeah, I am too. Just make it look better. That's all. All right. Next up, we got Batman Superman 17, and Rob's going to talk to us about that one.
So this one comes from writer Jean Luen Yang. Pencils from Ivan Reis. Inks from Danny Mickey. Colors from Sabine Rich. And letters from Saida Tamafonte.
Hey, did you read Superman versus the Klan?
No, actually, I always meant to, but I never got around to that.
That was the first place I was introduced to Jin Luen Yang's writing, and everybody raved about this, but it was kind of like mediocre for me. Yeah. But ever since then, just about everything he's written, I've enjoyed.
That's fair.
Yeah, he's hella good.
I can't think of anything else he's written that I've read besides this, but I'm loving this iteration of Batman Superman. At least this story is just fantastic, and the pacing is very on. It's 3 stories in one, and you don't get that very often. Have it make sense?
Nope.
With this told in film strips, even though we're only visiting the one world, you still get glimpses of the other world and what's going on with it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's done really well. I'm digging that they keep that film strip motif. That's cool as hell. Even if it's just the straight stuff and it's not woven through every page like the first one was, it still looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be sad when the story arc's done, just because I'm digging this alternate universe thing.
Right?
And then just the fact that Otario, I think was Otario, that he's able to pull stuff out of the film strips and make it real is crazy. What else can he pull out? Are we going to get the Warden Lex Luthor and Bane Alfred just pulled out of the page and into real life fighting Batman and Superman? That'd be interesting.
Right. I mean, you could go a million different directions, and maybe that's why we're enjoying it so much.
Yeah. Possibilities are almost limitless. I was surprised at the Warden being Lex Luthor, though. It might have been a bit more obvious to other people, but I was taken by surprise because I honestly thought it was Hugo Strange from the first one.
Yeah, or honestly, my first guess was that it was Jim Gordon.
Oh, that would be a really good one.
I mean, the hair color kind of matched a little bit, and the shagginess of the goatee.
Yeah.
I guess the goatee threw me off from it being Lex Luthor.
Yeah. The bald head's a dead giveaway, though.
Right.
Yeah, this art was fantastic. The story was so much fun. I'm loving this. They need to keep up this quality, and I wish this kind of quality was across every book.
Yep. It's some crazy alternate dimensional fun, but yeah, it's a fun read, man. It really is.
Yeah, this one.
Now, hey, at the end there, where we see Joker, Penguin, and Killer Croc there with Lex Luthor. Now let me ask you something. Are those some of the same design? Yeah, are those some of the same designs that we saw in Death Metal? I feel like at least the Penguin was that big, huge version of him in the last battle.
Yes.
But I can't remember if Joker or Killer Croc had.
Right, I'll be honest, I didn't even realize that was Waylon Jones. I know they kept calling him Jones, but it didn't click in my mind who it could be. And then when they showed him with the new mutated look, I was like, is that like Parasite?
Yeah, I could see that, but the bubbles and all that stuff. But yeah, he's just like before, he's the subject of crazy experiments, and apparently that was a result of this one. I think Joker's is equally as messed up. Not quite as sad, I guess. He doesn't look like a walking bunch of grapes.
Yeah.
He does have like mouths everywhere, though.
Joker is freaky, though.
He is.
And they all laugh. But I think that, now that you mentioned, I think that design might have been in Death Metal as well. It looks familiar.
It does, doesn't it? I wasn't sure if I was imagining that or not. Something else that I really, really liked about this stuff is that they had the Spider Lady in it.
Yeah.
Lois Lane as the Spider Lady is new as far as I know. But the Spider Lady, for those that are out there that don't know, is the villainess from the 1948 black and white serial Superman. It was this long 15-part Columbia film serial kind of thing. And in it, the Spider Lady is the queen of the Metropolis underworld, just like in the comic. I thought it was awesome. It still had that campy, good, fun feeling from the serials before. And, man, the art gives it a huge boost. Ivan Ray is born to draw Superman. Mm-hmm. And Danny Miki works really good with him.
Definitely.
Sabine Rich, too. I mean, the whole art team is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think I'm giving this one a 7.75. 7 3/4 out of 10.
I must say I probably loved it a hell of a lot more because I gave this a 9 out of 10. I'm just digging the hell out of what this whole team is putting together.
Well, see, okay, so there's a really good comic book, and then for at least as far as I go, there's a good comic book and there's fun comic books. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, a fun comic book is great, and it can be fun to read, but like a good comic book with a damn good story going on in it. I mean, I think that I reserve the much higher scores for. But if that's what you're looking for, man, then by all means, throw a 9 down on that, Clementine.
I love experimental stories like this. They just flow right into my mind, and yeah, it's exactly what I look for in a book. Especially in an age of monthly to yearly crises and event books and crossovers, just gets a little much.
Yeah,
and just
it
have
does.
Something a little simple and fun and fresh like this is exactly what I look for.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up is Action Comics 1030. That one is written still by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art from Daniel Sampere and Adriana Lucas with Dave Sharp on lettering and Mikkel Janin bringing us a very pretty kick-ass cover. We are continuing our journey toward the future state Superman in this book that starts out with a bunch of the, I guess, Mongolites? What do you call them people?
Yeah.
No, I mean, the war world citizens. They're all arguing and worshiping Mongol. And they give us like this quick reminder that Mongol isn't a person quite so much as a title, and all of the sons revolt against the dad, and someone takes over the mantle of Mongol. A stranger shows up, tosses Mongol the heads of all of his sons. Just says, here, I've got a gift for you. I've got 2 gifts for you. This is the first one. Gives him the head of all the people who could possibly take his throne from him. So to Mongol, that's a damn good gift, right? I mean, I don't know who the hell. Do you got any idea who this shadowy mystery dude might be?
Personally, no, but I'm not too brushed up on intergalactic DC apart from Green Lantern. So we'll see.
Well, right. I mean, I'm at a loss as far as who it might be too. The outline, I guess, maybe could be Phantom Stranger, but this isn't really his deal. You know what I mean?
I was thinking, and this is kind of funny, just the other day I was thinking about Bendis' Action Comics and just how it changed and all the stuff I was excited about before he showed up, and then all the stuff he got rid of after he showed up that I was excited about, like Oz being Jor-El. I found that very interesting. And what if, because Jor-El was never actually killed off, was he? He was just kind of taken away, I think.
Right.
So maybe this could be Jor-El brought back.
That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. But anyway, the aforementioned shadowy mystery dude had mentioned that he has 2 presents. Mongol wants to know what the second one is, and he said that the second one was the truth about the mysteries of Warworld, things that even Mongol and his dads didn't know, and how they lie with Superman somehow. That's where shit gets funky. Remember John freaking out about his dad dying? Pretty much everything is leading up to that, including Superman losing his powers a little bit because of radiation poisoning. I mean, you think he would have caught that from fucking kryptonite a while ago, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, the radiation poisoning that he supposedly got was during that breach attack from earlier in the arc, the one that was supposedly the last thing that is recorded about Superman. Now, honestly, man, with this one, I kind of started out like, what the hell? In this story arc, that especially that first book, I just could not. It just was not for me. Yeah. But now I see where all the dominoes have kind of fallen into place, and I can appreciate that first book a little bit better. And now I'm fucking super invested, man. And it's been a while since I've said that about a Superman book. Like, well, at least a year and a half. Plus, Sampere and Lucas's art is just amazing. Yeah, and for the record, I'm no like huge Superman lore expert. That's more Glenn's area of expertise, or to a lesser extent, my brother's.
Yeah, just on the topic of art again, the pages with John and Damian just having a chat are beautiful.
Oh man, aren't they?
Oh man, the lighting. Oh my god, it's so nice.
It is. It looks gorgeous, man.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with appreciating the previous storyline a bit better. It's like a prologue to the main story almost.
Yeah, it was. It almost felt like a setup to a setup issue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what those first 2 felt like.
Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, this could technically be a setup story as well. So very much like that setup to a setup. Now, when I started this issue, I honestly felt like I was just slogging through it, considering the last story arc. And just, like you said, it just wasn't my speed. I was just bored of it. And
yeah, then, it was. Ugh.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting through the Mongol stuff, but once we got past that and got into like Superman fighting that giant OMAC Brainiac robot, whatever that is. and just it picked up from there. I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm invested in this story again.
Yeah, the Warworld shit has never really been my deal. And to be honest with you, I have a lot of respect for the New Gods, and there's some of them that I will follow when they're in a book. Like I like Orion, for example, and a few others. But I just on DC's cosmic side of things, I like you don't really stray outside of the Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
And so I don't know a whole lot about it. I do know the information that they told us in this one, so this is just, regurgitated stuff for people who have been a comic book fan for God knows how long. But a catch up for those who haven't been, and we always want to bring in more comic readers.
Definitely. The twist ending, I don't know how much of a twist it is, because it's gotten a bit like Dragon Ball, where these are the last two Saiyans, but oh no, there's another one, and oh no, we're at this planet, here's another one, and oh, there's another one attacking us now. His Kryptonians are all over the bloody place. He's no longer the last son of Krypton.
No.
Well,
no, it's really
born,
weird.
But...
Yeah. So they say I just saw this explained. Hell, it was somewhere on the internet. But somebody was saying, how could you possibly call Superman the last son of Krypton when there's all these other Kryptonians that are out and around in the universe? And they're like, well, it's not that he's the only remaining Kryptonian. It's the fact that he was the last one born. He was the last son of Krypton. Yeah. So anyway, that was from a critiquer. Yeah. I was like, okay, I can swallow that. That'll work.
Yeah, I dig that.
I gave this one an 8 out of 10, man. What'd you give it?
So I am interested in where it's going. And
yeah.
Especially with that ending. We'll see. Because these look more like almost Warworld slave Kryptonians. Sorry. These look almost like Warworld slave Kryptonians as opposed to just Kryptonians traveling the galaxy. So we'll see where this goes.
They're speaking Kryptonian, but they're in Warworld ships, right? Yeah.
It's an even more ancient Kryptonian. It's a dead Kryptonian language, he calls it. So who knows how old they are. Like they're speaking Latin, basically, maybe.
Right? I mean, that's exactly right. Yeah. If it's a dead language on Krypton, it was from a long time ago.
Yeah. So I also gave this an 8 out of 10. I like where this is going so far. You got my attention.
Yeah, indeed. It got mine as well. Speaking of somebody that's good at getting attention, here's Midnighter. Rob, you want to walk us up through this backstory here?
Will do. So this one's from Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with art by Michael Avon Oeming, colors by Taki Soma, and letters by Dave Sharp. So where we left Midnighter, him and his Trojan AI are just hanging around.
Right.
J.L. Jaeger, which I think is fantastic. I wonder
right.
what that tastes like.
Yeah, me too.
They're just watching Andre Trojan in his present day form, just going through the motions and being a bad guy in public.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting what he's going to go for, but we'll see how it goes.
Right? I mean, is Midnighter going to end up stopping this guy from making it to the future?
Well, that's the thing. That's where we'll see, because where we leave him now, he's got a sniper ready to test his... Oh my God, what's it called?
Time travel loop paradox deal?
His kill baby Hitler routine.
Yeah, that's what he calls it, yep.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Yep, if you go back in time and kill baby Hitler, then you save the world from World War II.
This is one of the big things that I'm paying attention to across all of Infinite Crisis. Sorry. This is one of the big things I'm paying attention to across all of Infinite Frontier, among other characters like Black Adam and Roy Harper, because it really looks like they're going to be the ones to try and change the future that we see in Future State. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, when Infinite Frontier is over and done with, we're not going to end up with the Future State future that we saw. It either will go that way or won't go that way. And if we've already seen it, well then, what's the point?
Yeah. Do you think this is DC's long drawn out way of putting Superman to bed, Clark Kent Superman. Do you think that they're going to actually wean him out and replace him with John?
I don't know. There's a lot of comic book conspiracy theories to be talked about when it comes to that topic.
Right.
Dan DiDio, his potential hatred of sidekicks, and just him having left the company and the direction of all the stories having changed. It could very well be. We'll see. I kind of hope not. As much as I like John Kent, I think Clark Kent needs to be Superman forever. I mean, he's immortal. For crying
Right.
out
I mean, for all intents and purposes, he is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as far as Midnighter goes, man, I dig the story, too. It's really cool. It does address the whole time travel loop paradox deal with Kill Baby Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the art killed it for me, dude. I thought it was way too broad. I thought it looked way too flat. The coloring had like an almost classic feel to it, but I think that was probably because of the way that the inks were done, with being very broad and very flat. I like the story, dude. The art just wasn't there for me, and that sucks because I love Midnighter.
Yeah. I enjoy Oming's art in other things he's done, but I agree it was a little odd, this issue. I didn't really know how to phrase it, what I didn't like about it, but flat sounds like a good
Yeah, like,
it's just kind of doesn't fit properly.
no, like Howard Porter times 10. It's very, 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 very two-dimensional. I mean, it's cool, and I like the story. I love the way that they're writing Midnighter, but I'm gonna have to give the art was just bad, man. I'm gonna have to give this one a 6.75.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole issue gets a 7.5 out of it for me, because they, I love the story and action was good, and I love myself some Midnighter, so it rounded up 7.5.
Yeah, I gave this a 7.5 for the Midnighter myself, just because I'm really invested in the story, because this I think is one to look out for if you're paying attention to the whole overall story.
For sure, man.
This is a big one, which for me, just to balance out, I gave the whole book an 8.
There you go. All right. Well, let's move from one sociopath to another and cover Robin, #1, in Damian's debut of his very first title. I believe it's his very first solo title.
Oh, I think his very first solo.
As Robin.
No, he's had another solo title. As Robin.
Okay, well,
yeah.
in
But
Infinite Frontier, anyway.
Yeah, this is probably the most exciting one.
Hopefully. This one was written by Joshua Williamson, with art on both the inside and out from Gleb Melnikov, and a Larger World Studios' Troy Peteri did the lettering. And you can listen to this review. In fact, please do. But honestly, just like pause it or download it. That'd be even better. And come back and listen to it later after you go to your local comic book shop and buy this Robin book. I'm just telling you, I'm not giving it a perfect 10, but this was so good. Mm-hmm. It continues the story that we had with Damian, who is back in a really cool Robin suit, mostly back black and gray with a little bit of red on there. And he's trying to get into the League of Lazarus fighting tournament. That only happens once every 100 years. Okay? He manages to earn his way back into the tournament by defeating King Snake, who just happens to be Bane's dad. He doesn't kill him, though, which I thought was a little odd for the way that we've been seeing Robin go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Anyway, he's off to the island where the tournament is held. There's characters we know, like Ravager, and others that we don't, like Respawn. There's a mention a couple of times of the rules of the fights there, but no one is giving any specifics, and Damian is not paying attention to at all. So they're all there, and the host of Mortal Kombat, the League of Lazarus tournament, is I mean, that's what it feels like. Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah.
But she is welcoming everyone and is about to explain those previously mentioned rules when Damian announces who he is and offers to take them all on. It's up to them, one at a time or all together. Fuck Damian. Again, anyway, it doesn't work out for him so well. but go buy it. I am not going to ruin the cliffhanger at the end. It was great story, great art, a solid 8.5 out of there for me. There were a few art choices I wasn't really in favor of, but altogether, man, this is a damn good book, and it's a great intro story for Damien.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a great read. I will preface what I'm about to say with, when I got to the end and I was getting off the high of just how good this book was, I was thinking about all the stuff I just witnessed, and I'm thinking it almost seems familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on why. Like, maybe there's a lot of story elements that are just drawn from other books, and that's why it seems so familiar, but even just like the shocking final page and the stuff that led up to it all seems like I've read it before, and I don't know why.
Mortal Kombat.
That's what I was saying. Honestly, I did just watch Mortal Kombat over the weekend.
Right? And that wasn't too bad either, by the way. I thought it was pretty good. The acting isn't exactly A1, no, but it is way better than the previous Mortal Kombat movies, and it's pretty cool. The CG and it's real neat. I love Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I like the new story.
Definitely. Yeah, like I've heard lots of people just talk about the acting, and I can agree the acting falls a little flat at times, and some of the pacing of the story is kind of weird, but I've also spent my life watching video game movies and knowing to just lower my expectations to next to nothing when you go into it.
Right, and just enjoy it for popcorn.
Yeah, you go in. I went into this movie expecting gore, action, and something similar to the Mortal Kombat plot, and that's exactly what I got, and I loved it.
Yep, me too. Me too.
It's fantastic gore. Oh my god, those fatalities. Anyway. Yeah, some of this cast of characters is very cool to me. Seeing Raptor back, I don't know how much you enjoyed Raptor, but I loved Raptor. I thought he was very cool.
As far as I know, that Respawn person is completely new, and what a ripoff of the Deathstroke costume.
Yeah.
So obviously,
will feel about that.
Yes. So I mean, they were standing there next to each other, so obviously there's some kind of connection there. Yeah. But not one I'm familiar with.
The fact that he's
new
got
characters.
2 eyes is interesting.
It is.
And I'm looking at the character design now. It's got so many different elements to it. Like there's chains. There's like some weird jacket thing.
Right.
It's like a combination of so many different characters I'm thinking of right now. Oh, okay, this is somebody I'm in love with right now.
Yeah, I think that's where Robin's joke of nice copyright infringement came from, because he like peeled so many different characters' looks.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. We also get our first glimpse at Connor Hawke in tournament, and he looks badass.
Yes, he does.
Oh, man.
Yes, he does.
God damn. I can't wait to see how this book plays out. Oh my god.
Me either. Especially considering the final page of this book. It really has me wondering how the plot continues in the direction it was heading with the way that it ended, at least in this issue. But it's good, man. Go out and buy it for real.
I did find it odd that they just shove in that King Snake is Bane's dad, because he looked way too young to be Bane's dad.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've ever heard that, though, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's pretty established lore. But he was drawn a little young.
Yeah. And I really appreciated that manga pause and right in the middle. It just shows a little bit more of Damien. He's still a kid. He reads...
Right.
He reads these, what are they called?
Mangas?
Yeah, I was thinking another name for it, but yeah, mangas. He just reads these fun little mangas, cute stories, and he's like us. He's going through life, reading comics, and trying to learn from them. And I think that's great. It shows more of the human and humility side of Damien, and especially in a book that we're going to get into with this tournament coming up, you really need to see that.
Right.
At the end of the day, he's still a human being. He's got thoughts and feelings. He doesn't want to kill, but if he has to, he might.
Right? Which is a little different than we've seen his attitude before.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
I loved this book. This one, for me, got an 8.5. It was just, oh, God, it's exciting.
It really was, man. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So we both gave it an 8.5. So let's move from the kid to Daddy in Detective Comics 1035. Rob, take us through that one.
Alright, this one's coming from Mariko Tamaki with art by Dan Mora, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters from Aditya Bidikar. So we get a brief glimpse into Bruce investigating the disappearance of Sarah Worth. The art during this whole sequence is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man. It all is.
Oh my god. I love this art. Yeah, we get a little glimpse into the horror side of it, and the mystery gets a little deeper when he finds Sarah Worth's body tied up in the sewers. Before he can investigate too much, the police show up and shoot him away.
Damn it.
And, yeah. But oddly enough, and this was a bit of a stretch for me, when one of the bullets hits his cape, it goes astray and just goes right back into an officer's shoulder, which the physics on that just does not make sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. And I was sitting there looking at that too, and it's one of the reasons why this got ticked down a point was because this is a fantastic issue. Mm-hmm. But that didn't make any sense to me, and there wasn't even any kind of an inclination that bullet was fired by anyone else.
Yeah.
They did say that that Batman shot at the GCPD, but there was nobody standing in the shadows. I didn't from the panels in the art. Jesus.
Yeah.
From the panels that we saw, I didn't see anybody that was, or anywhere that was someplace that somebody could be sitting. I don't see any clues whatsoever. So, I mean, that whole thing about it ricocheting off of the cape, I mean, it didn't cross my mind, but, I mean, I really hope it's not, but is that what just happened?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And it didn't really amount to anything either. It just got kind of a text box a few pages later, and that was it.
Yeah, that's
almost
true.
Not necessary.
It could show up to be something quite a bit more, though.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you never know sometimes.
I continue to love the way that Tamaki is writing Bruce, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and this story is definitely up there with the writing. And the way this story goes and the pacing is fantastic between the funeral scene and what happens later with with Sarah's partner Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm just gushing over the art. Oh my god, it's so good.
I know it's really, really gorgeous, man. It really is nice.
But the writing is great. I'm very curious to see what's going up with Mayor Nakano's aide, Neil.
Mm-hmm.
I know they really made it seem like he was the murderer last issue, but there's some really weird Ram V Swamp Thing-esque things going on in his head that I'm finding very, very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see what that. And again,
it's interesting, and it ended in a rather unexpected way, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That last page is something else.
A bit of a twist ending. And again, not going to spoil it because these twist endings are abundant this week, and they're so good. Go out and see what it is. You won't be disappointed.
Nope.
Yeah, this is curious. This is what I love from Detective Comics, and this is what I always say Detective Comics should be. As much as I loved the run, who was writing it with the Night of the Monster Men?
Oh.
They had the Four Towers. Is that Tomasi?
Was it Tomasi? I mean, he was on there for a little while.
Yeah. Whoever was doing the run then, as much as I enjoyed that run, I didn't really feel like it was Detective Comics. It was just another Batman story. But This is Detective Comics. It needs to be a mystery. Have him be a detective. Have him actually doing what he does best. Save the Batman adventures for his main story, or Justice League, or any other book he's in, because he's in half a dozen to like 3 dozen.
Right?
and save this for like true, honest to goodness mysteries like this, which I'm loving. Oh my god, that final page. Yeah, for the story, for this part of the book, I gave an 8 out of 10. Art's fantastic. Story is really interesting. I love
Yeah.
a good mystery.
Yeah, I gave it an 8.5. The art is gorgeous. And like you said, everything about the story that Rob said is exactly how I feel. And that twist ending, it came out of nowhere, but for some reason, I mean, it's a twist ending that comes out of nowhere for sure. But it is, for some reason, it's not like a shocking or a what the fuck kind of situation. It's got me looking forward to the next issue.
Yeah.
That last page, dude, that was just cool.
And nothing to even say that it's coming either. None of the story even like hints that this could potentially be a thing that's coming, and it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, it's a total
Yeah.
surprise. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
All right, now on to the backup issue. We've got Huntress, number 1 of 2, sadly. This one is also written by Mariko Tamaki, but this time the art is from Clayton Henry and Jordi Belair with Aditya Bidikar on letters. Huntress! Man. We've got some pretty good art here from Henry and Belair, even with Henry's trademark long face going on here. It was a really nice story to look at, man, for sure. Huntress begins this by thinking about how that she's lousy with friends. She meets a friend dies, ultimately because of how Huntress handles emotions and shit. And then in the last page, we get Huntress being Huntress and saying she'll make sure whoever did this pays for it. It was short, a little plot convenient, but hey, you gotta launch a story somehow, right?
Definitely.
You know, I wish we could see a little character treatment for Huntress, like we did for Batman, in a standalone or maybe an extended arc, something more than just 2 little backstories. Even if it was like 6, I'd be happy. She's a great character. There's a lot you could do with her, especially with the way that Tamaki kind of like deconstructed Bruce and gave us a more humanized Batman. It would be interesting to see what kind of direction she could take Huntress in. The bad part about this is that it is only 2 parts long. She's one of my favorite Bat family members. I mean, I've got a lot. There's Batman, every Robin except Carrie Kelly, Huntress, Oracle, Orphan. So basically nearly everyone. But Huntress has always been right up there at the top. It is a setup issue, and there won't be time for much of a conclusion. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just happy she's in books again. But I gave this one an 8.5.
Yeah, I was excited to see a Huntress backup. This is definitely an underutilized character in the Bat family, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Years. And I don't know how much continuity is still a thing anymore, but her introduction in the Grayson series and then her kind of putting on a costume afterwards, I thought it was a great origin and really spoke to the character, and then she just wasn't used much. I think there was a Birds of Prey around that time that she was a part of, but I wasn't really picking up on it. Apart from that, she kind of just disappeared. It's a shame because Huntress is such an interesting character.
Her and Bluebird. I'm glad we've got Bluebird back into full time.
Yeah.
We just need to get Huntress there.
I think we need a new Birds of Prey title with like all the female Bat family characters.
That would be wicked cool.
Definitely.
So there's Orphan, Spoiler, Oracle, Batwoman, Harley Quinn, Catwoman,
Bluebird.
Bluebird.
Yeah, Huntress.
Oh, okay, Huntress. Shit, there's almost damn near 10 of them, if not 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could totally go that way, man. That would be cool as hell. Like a female Bat family version of the Justice League,
Yeah. Be crazy.
this one, whole issue, 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, as sad as this story was, it was very interesting. It's got me excited for what's going to happen next. Huntress just being a Huntress and she's going to get revenge. So this, I gave a 7.5 out of 10. I look forward to where this is going. And that gave me a whole score for the whole book for 8 out of 10.
Right on. All right. Well, let's see how the last book of the week does, huh?
Yeah.
Teen Titans Academy #2. Rob, you want to bring us through that one?
Will do. So this is from writer Tim Sheridan. Pencils from Rafa Sandoval. Inks from Jordi Tarragona. Colors by Alejandro Sanchez. And letters by Rob Lee. There's so much going on in this issue. We're only at issue 2, and it is jam-packed. I found issue 1 a little lacking in terms of plot, because a lot of it was just setup and introduction, but we're really getting into some story now.
Yeah, dude, that first issue was so convoluted because there was so much shit packed into so few pages.
Yeah.
And this one I think is better because, I mean, there's still a lot in there. Rob's not wrong. It is a little dense, but it's playing out a lot better, and it's stretched out a bit. So it's working, and I have a feeling that it's working towards something really huge.
Oh, yeah. I hope so. With this Red X mystery, their time jump between 72 hours in the future and not they're really setting up a good mystery, and they're putting up who they want us to think it is. I follow a lot of mysteries.
Who do you think Red X is?
Well, they're really making us want to believe it's Matt Price, but I don't know. I feel like giving that away issue 2. I follow a lot of mysteries, and to give that away in issue 2 just seems like a patsy.
Right.
This is something that I kind of hope they don't, but I really think they might push for a long time and make you think it's somebody and then make you think it's somebody else because that first person got an alibi, and then somebody else. And then eventually you'll find out it was this person. And when you think back to the first few issues, it makes no bloody sense. Either that or it's a whole group of people working together.
You know what? The last time that we reviewed this, I want to say it was Brandon, but it might have been you. But one of you said that for some reason you suspected Bunker. I think that might have been Brandon, but...
It might have been Brandon, because I was suspecting Billy, I think.
Like Batson?
Billy, yeah. It was either Billy or the kid from Dial H.
Oh, Miguel.
Miguel, yeah.
I think it's Miguel. It's Miguel, right?
Yeah. Just based off of the Future State Teen Titans stuff that they brought in, with that mystery, it seemed like somebody they knew and somebody familiar, and somebody that's been in the hero game a long time. And of the whole class at Teen Titans Academy for new students, those two had been in the game a lot longer.
Who's that?
Everybody else is fresh blood. Miguel and Billy Batson.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That is true.
At least that's what I was thinking. But now I don't know. Who knows? It doesn't make sense why either of them would do that. But
that's again,
mysteries are full of surprises.
Yeah, that is true, man. And mysteries aside, everything inside these covers of this book is so gorgeous.
Oh, it is.
I really enjoyed it. Every single touch, man. Like the way Raven was drawn, her face, that was so wicked cool. They managed to make her look like a badass and soft at the same time. Yeah, the whole thing was just awesome. And I'm really into the story because I'm eager to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's a really exciting story. And that kind of twist page, do we want to give this one away? Because not a huge twist.
No, it's not a huge twist. It's got a Suicide Squad tie-in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have Alinta as Bolt in Future State Suicide Squad, I think.
Yep, she's the new Flash with the blades.
Yeah. So it just makes sense that Suicide Squad's going to have a beat on her, and Amanda Waller wants some shit from her, but we don't know what yet. But that right away gives her an alibi out of being Red X, who I think they were kind of pushing towards maybe throughout the book she could be Red X, but again, that doesn't make sense for prosthetics, and then the 72 hours in the future, and she's got an alibi. That makes no sense. But,
it is getting kind of shoved around in a lot of different directions, man.
yeah.
It's done a little confusing. There's a lot to get through, but it is done very, very well. And honestly, dude, this one gets an easy 8.75 out of me. I loved it. I thought I had such a fun time with it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it quite a lot. The art, yeah, like you said, the art's fantastic. And like I said about Detective Comics, I love a good mystery, despite the fact that I hope it doesn't go on too long. I am really excited about this. And having grown up watching the Teen Titans cartoon, I am super excited it's about Red X. I thought that was a fantastic original character for the show. Just give me more.
And just to go on record, we here at Not a Robot Podcast fully endorse the one and only Teen Titans show, the original Teen Titans show, and everything with Go After It sucks. Thank you.
Amen. Though the Teen Titans Go to the movies, everybody keeps telling me, oh, it's good, you should watch it. But I only watched the last, 4 minutes with the after credit scene because that's the only important part.
Right.
Which we get to get a payoff on.
Yeah, my kids love that show.
Yeah.
They love that show way more than the original cartoon, but obviously they're mistaken.
They'll grow into it.
Yeah, that's my hopes, man. That's my hopes.
And that, again, with that Teen Titans cartoon, just raised my love of Beast Boy and his background antics during home ec.
Right.
Transforming into all these different animals. Oh, that's great.
And Cyborg saying, hit him in between the legs. That always works, no matter what form he is.
Brilliant, yeah. The humor in this book is wonderful.
It really is.
It works, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that being said, I gave this a 7.5 out of 10. It's very enjoyable. I'm weary about how long this mystery is going to go on, but I'm really digging it. I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
As long as it doesn't feel like it's getting dragged out, I don't care how long it is.
Yeah. I would just love to see more from this book besides just this Red X mystery. Because this, as an idea, I think is a great idea. Having the Teen Titans train and teach the next generation of Teen Titans.
Yeah.
In a proper school. I think that's a great idea. We don't... It's an idea that's been done many times before with many different teams having like a youth academy. X-Men did it, Avengers did it. I think it's been done in DC a few times. But this, I think, just makes perfect sense.
It really does. It's like, I don't understand why it wasn't put out there before. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those kind of team ups.
Yeah.
And before we end this book, I just got to say, hey, thank you for throwing the Barbara drama in there. Of course, you can't just let Dick and Corey be happy. You've got to throw Barbara in there. Jerks. Let her move on.
As a Dick Babs fan, I am more than okay with it.
I'm not opposed to it that much, but will they, won't they, will they, won't they? They don't know. Let Dick move on.
Mm-hmm. You'll just end up with Donna Troy in the end, let's face it.
All right, man. I guess that is it for the books. So let's move on to our top 3 and our favorite panel/moment of the week. You want to start us off there, Rob?
All right, we'll do. So, starting at number 3, I had Detective Comics. It's just a fun read. It really is. It's a great mystery. That final page is so much to bring you back. Please go out and buy it.
Right.
I want more of this. Tamaki needs all the work. Number 2... I gave it to Robin. Again, that final page. Go out and buy it. We need more of this story.
Yeah.
Again, it might just be hype that Mortal Kombat just came out over the last weekend and we're watching a great tournament, and now we're reading a great tournament with fighters all over the world, but the fighters look amazing. My boy Raptor's back. My boy Connor Hawk is in it. We got Ravager. We got new characters. We got old characters. It's going to be a blast.
DC Combat! Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, man. And it all works because Mortal Kombat is owned by Warner Brothers at that. Dude.
Yep.
Oh man, perfect.
They can pick and borrow as much as they want.
Yeah, and it just Warner Brothers. If you're going to make another Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, just make it good. That's all I ask. Take the Mortal Kombat 11 engine and do that.
Right? That would be awesome.
Oh man, Injustice was great.
I loved
Kombat 10 and 11 were great.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat vs DC Universe was
unfortunate.
Yeah, but
that's what that was.
That's in the past. We'll see.
Yeah. There needs to be a part 2 though.
Yeah.
With way more characters in it. Mm-hmm. That's where you went wrong last time.
Yeah.
That and the gameplay. But anyway.
Right, and my number 1 is Batman Superman. Just a gorgeous book. I'm loving the story. I'm loving the style. I'm loving the experimental features to it. Give me more. It's my favorite book right now.
Right on. My top three almost mirrored yours. Detective Comics, of course, the exact same reason. Plus, I get a little Huntress. Yeah. Robin, new story, new costume, same old Damian, and one hell of a gripping cliffhanger. But Teen Titans Academy took my top spot this week, dude. That was a hella good story. That was a really good story. What was your favorite moment, man?
For me, I had a hard time picking this, but I had to go with the Warden Lex showing up with the mutated villains. It was just like, oh my god, so that's what happened to them? It was just very interesting.
Yeah, it was quite a shock. You didn't expect to see it.
Yeah. And the designs were great.
Really
Despite
good.
the fact Joker and Penguin might be ripped off from Death Metal.
And Waylon too, as far as we know. But yeah, I mean my memory sucks. But I feel like they were in Death Metal. At the very least, the Penguin design was.
Yeah. I think there was even a moment in one of like the one shots where they had Penguin fighting like 5 different versions of himself. So I think there's a good chance that was one of them.
Yeah. Little tips of the hat. Nothing wrong with that. My favorite is going to be that final page of Robin. I'm not going to tell y'all why, other than it was gorgeous. It was drawn beautifully, and it makes you go, whoa, what the hell? I have to wait a month for the second part of this? Bullshit. That's the kind of reaction it got from me, and the only thing that I'm worried about is the guy that's writing it, man. He's got amazing ideas in his head. But again, his Flash run, there was little to no follow through on any of his stories, so I'm holding reservations for that. And because of that didn't get a 9. So that's where I'm at with this one. But now, let's get over to the other end of the spectrum here with
the biggest thinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
Rob, who made your stink list today?
So I have a feeling we're going to have the same one. I was kind of flip-flopping when I was trying to figure this out, and I was kind of leaning towards Teen Titans Academy for some reason. It just got one of my lowest scores.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just the amount of stuff that was in that. It was just kind of bringing down her. It was too much to really take in, but going through it again, it's definitely not the biggest stinker. This week is Harley Quinn.
It has to be. Not hard to figure that one out, man.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to diss when Brandon's not here.
It's still a fun book, but definitely the weakest of the 6 this week.
For sure.
The art was very distracting. I still love you, Riley Rossmo, but it was very distracting.
I don't love you, Riley Rossmo, and I think the art is just gross. Oh, man. That, hey, it's all personal opinions here because we're humans, not robots, right?
Exactly. No beep boops here.
No beep boops. Anti-beep boop. All right, everybody. That is the end of the show. So remember to subscribe, like, download, share, and email it to your aunt every single one of our episodes so you can find everything you need from Not a Robot Podcast. And you can do that at notarobotpodcast.com. Hop on over to the Patreon and become more of a part of the show. All right, Rob, there is only one way we say goodbye around here, man. And that is, all you listeners out there, be good to yourself. And don't be a robot.